Rory, how we doing, mate?
Very well, Ben. How are you?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. So we got Rory on the call today because how much? What do you want to say? How much money did you make last month?
First month was 5,200 US dollars. So
Not
good
bad.
first.
Not bad. And that's your what? That's your second full month, right? Like
Yeah.
since you started.
So essentially, I suppose started with you probably around 2.5 months ago,
Yeah.
and then kind of what date is it now? Yeah, 1st of June
This is
now.
June.
Around May, I kind of got on with two offers, and yeah, it's been about a month now.
Not a bad return rate that.
Not bad. Not
Awesome, mate. Well, look, I think today just want to kind of dive into firstly just find out more about you, your stories. It's really interesting to see like the progression, what you were thinking before, everything like that, your whole journey, the ups and downs so far, goals for the future, and yeah, just really give people an insight. Like as someone who's literally just gone from zero experience in high ticket sales to now, doing those kinds of numbers in such a short period of time is really impressive. So, firstly, like well done. I can take a horse to water, but I can't make it drink, right? So you've actually put in the work, and it's really interesting because I did a video on my YouTube, probably one of my second videos. And I mentioned in there it was called like 5 things I tell myself I was starting again, and I referenced you in that, and I was like, I look at Rory now as one of my students. He's putting all the inputs in, and the whole argument for this point was put your inputs in, you'll get the outputs. And Rory's putting all the inputs in. Like I have no doubt in a few months' time he's going to be absolutely smashing it. And literally a
mm,
couple months later, you've gone and made this kind of money.
yeah.
So yeah, do you want to stop me from fucking spieling on? Introduce yourself, where you're from,
Yeah.
what you were doing before this, and yeah, just give a rundown there.
Yes, I suppose my name's Rory, 21. From around like Henley Way, Henley Reading Way. Before kind of joining on with Ben, I was at Newcastle University, studying geography. But I suppose my main kind of motivation for going there was never the degree, was more kind of what uni had to offer, the rugby side. And yeah, I think, was there 2 years, loved it, had a great time, but quickly realized in my second year that it just wasn't for me. Um, and yeah, now I've been able to kind of fully step away, focus all in on this. Um, so that's kind of like the sense of me. But I suppose in terms of my kind of like journey to making money online, that's been a bit of a longer one.
Yeah, it's
Much,
been a very long one. So kind of
much,
similar to mine, I think.
yeah, probably much like Ben's and many people's. It's trying to start with all these different things and trying to do three things at once because you saw a TikTok and you think you can get rich within 24 hours. And I think I was definitely a culprit of that at times, but set up my own influencer marketing agency, which was good, saw some success, but which is difficult at times, because for loads of reasons, lots of different skills you have to learn, and I learned a lot from it, but I learned more from it about what I don't want from something, not what I do want, and that's kind of when I kind of started speaking with Ben, and got into this kind of sales space, I suppose.
Nice. No, it's interesting you say that you realize what you don't want.
Mm,
I feel like you get that in life with loads of different things. Like even with me, I kind of realized like, okay, I don't want to go to uni and drink all the time
mm.
and go out all the time. So I was like, no, I don't want that. So I'm not going to put myself in that environment. But just it's interesting that you said that. So you started uni, what was that, 2 years ago then?
Yeah, so that would be 2023. Yeah, September
Yeah.
2023. Um, Before that, had a year out in Australia playing rugby. Went to uni with that kind of mindset, and then a few incidents happened, a few injuries, few things going on, which made me realise that there's a lot more to life than committing 8 9 months of my year to something.
Mm,
Pretty unpredictable. And then yeah,
yeah.
that kind of led me down a few different avenues, different paths, and I suppose one of them is now here.
Nice. And what was the obviously you try loads of different things, like talk about the agency because I think that's
Yeah.
really interesting because I think a lot of guys try and start the agency straight away and it doesn't go as well.
Mm.
Um so yeah, tell me about that.
So essentially, with the agency, it was kind of like it all kind of stemmed from. It started with, I think it was in like October 2023. I actually started like theme pages just online, and I actually managed to grow like 2 or 3 to like 50 to 100K plus followers. And then after around 6 months of doing that, I didn't really learn to monetize it effectively, but I still had these massive pages. And then these two lads approached me to, one wanted to buy a page, and then the other one actually was like, "Oh, have you ever thought about kind of getting into the marketing space in that scene?" And then through that was like, okay, well, we work with influencers, we do something with influencer marketing. Would this be of interest? And obviously, with my passion in kind of health and fitness, rugby, all that, I was like, okay, well, look, these theme pages are going great, but I'm not really monetizing them. I don't know enough to monetize. Let's transfer some of the skills that I've learned in this and go all in on the influencer marketing. I did that for around 8, 9. Well, I think from the start to the end, it was around a year,
Mm.
bit less. And look, there were months where it was really good, but essentially around kind of October, November of 2024, well, verbally agreed around 4 or 5 clients in a month, and that was kind of that would have been a big month for me, and that would have been my goal. And then
Mm.
within the space of 2 weeks, all of them pulled out.
Wow.
I'd done
Yeah.
all the work, all the influencers were sourced, all the marketing was done. I probably spent I would want to say north of 60, 70 hours. And I got zero money for it because I made a silly mistake of not getting people to sign contracts early enough.
Yeah.
That's something I guarantee you I will never do again in my entire life.
Yeah. And it's tricky because like the way I always think about it, like there's just so much on your plate as someone
Mm,
who has never ran a business before. You've got the fulfillment, like just little things like that, like forgetting to send contracts.
God,
There's
it's
so
correct.
many
Like
things
because
like
you're at that time, all I was thinking about was that what influences the source, the relationship between them and the brand. Selfishly as well for what I was going to get out of it. And I was thinking, oh my God, this big number in my head, just work, 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 work. Like I was speaking to my parents, probably to their like, I don't know what the word would be, but I don't think I attended a university lecture. I think I genuinely have attended 2 since I dropped out.
that, really.
And the ones that I attended, I had an AirPod in. I was listening to a podcast and I was writing up my pitch deck. And I was sat in there listening to geography about like something about urban planning, and I was like, "What am I doing with my life? Like, that is not like that is not going to get me from what I want to achieve." So then that was kind of a realization too. In order to drop out, I need to seriously make something work.
And I think that that's a really interesting topic. Like, yeah, I think starting an agency, that's we
Mm,
could go in on that, talk about that for hours, but also something that's even more important and something that I talk about all the time, mindset and
mm,
how you have to have a bulletproof mindset coming into anything, but especially with
yeah.
sales. So what was the thoughts there? Because I know we'd been speaking for a while and you were umming and ahhing about dropping out. So what was like the point where you were like, right, I need to just drop out now. I need to go all in. And
I
what was
think for me, like the main thing was right with sales. I kind of, as you spoke about mindset, like I was big at that time on reflecting about my past experiences, what I've learned, and I realized that I never just fully focused 100% on one thing. I'd do like 70% and maybe 15% on another, 15 on another, and that just doesn't work. Like, so then I was like, okay, well, if I do drop out of university, I'm saying goodbye to a degree. I'm saying goodbye to another year of rugby. I'm saying goodbye to a few things, but what would I gain out of that? And for me, like learning something like sales would stay with me for life. Like I know I will run my own businesses. I know that like these things will happen. And for now, this is like the perfect skill that I can learn and try and master to help me, well, in later life, but also in any kind of venture that I do. Because it's communication. I think it's the most important thing, especially now of like all the stuff around like AI and
mm,
rise of that. Like I feel like soon the most important thing will just be kind of communication and character. And I think that's something that sales embodies.
100%, mate. I think that it's paramount in any business. Like it's the backbone of any business. You know, you can have everything, marketing, the funnels, but if you don't know how to close the deal, if you can't get it over the line where you're actually going to be bringing money into the business, then your business isn't going to work.
Mm.
You're not going to be able to scale. You're not going to be able to grow. And I think that that's it's a good thing to mention, because I always say it, you're not going to close forever. Like, I don't want you to be a closer the rest of your days, right?
Yeah.
The aim is learn the skill, stack a lot of money, and then
Mm.
you can start your own thing. You can then
Yeah.
start your
Yeah.
own business.
I think, put bluntly, it's one of those things where you learn a fantastic skill. It's a way to kind of increase capital. And then my kind of goal would be, get really good at this skill, network with a lot of people, meet a lot of cool people, learn from their mistakes, learn from what went well, and hopefully kind of replicate and build my own thing. And I don't quite know what that is yet, but I suppose people always say, like, at uni, like, it doesn't matter, you don't know what you're gonna do. Like, you'll leave and you might go into something. For me, this is like my period of where I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I know what I'm gonna do now, and I know that what I'm doing now will lead to, well, hopefully something successful in the future.
Definitely. And it's so interesting because it's like, yeah, you can have the mindset of like, oh, I'm just going to go through these 3 or 4 years of uni, and I'm just going to see what happens, see where I land, see what job I get. But there's a difference between that and with what you're doing, because you're now
Yeah.
going in a proper direction. You're making money, roughly where you want to go. And yeah, I agree. Like, you don't want to know, okay, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. This is my exact plan. There's
Mm.
no excitement in that. You got to kind of switch it up and decide as you go, because your journey
100%.
changes and you change as a person. But for you as well, in terms of that uni, I really want to understand, because I think that there's a lot of guys who are maybe at uni and it's really not what they thought it was, or there's guys, especially there's guys who have left uni now,
Mm.
have done what you said. They've kind of just fallen into a job that maybe they don't love it, and maybe they're on the fence, right? They're like, oh, I don't know whether I should give something a go, whether it's sales or not sales, but just burning the boats essentially and really
Yeah.
going all in on something. Like, you've seen the power of that over the past 3 months. So tell me
Yeah.
about that.
I think, yeah, I think, like, I'd say first, like, everyone's gonna have a different purpose. Everyone can have a different goal. For some people, I've got some mates at university, and they're smashing what they're doing. They're doing degrees in economics, finance, business, and they're doing amazing at that, and they're excelling at that. So I don't think it's a one size fits all. I think for them that's fantastic. They've got that purpose. But if are someone that's either at uni now or left uni, and you don't quite feel satisfied with what you're doing, and you feel like purpose driven by something else, and, like, I suppose, why wouldn't you? Like,
Mhm.
why wouldn't you? Because we're both, what, you 21 as well now?
Yeah, 21. Yeah.
Like, there's little to no risk to doing it. Time,
Yeah.
I mean, you could learn the skills whilst you're doing a job, and then as soon as you kind of match your income, you can then move. Like, for
Mm.
me, I suppose, I dropped out of uni before. I remember we were probably speaking for, what, 4 weeks beforehand?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
have a role, was at home for Easter. To be fair, this is good because didn't have a role, was home for Easter. All my mates were on the ski trip. It's like a week trip. Like, it's not big. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, you don't, like, don't get me wrong. It's a fantastic trip, but I was like, I'm not gonna go because, like, I need to make this work, because I would rather miss out on an amazing week than do another 16 months doing something that I just despise.
100%. And you
Because,
have to do the
yeah,
sacrifice at the
no,
end of the
and
day.
it's a small sacrifice, but it's like, literally, I did 4 weeks of training. I did another 4 weeks in Easter, and by the end of those Easter holidays, I was going back to my uni house with 2 offers. And I was dropped out.
100%. It's those small sacrifices, they really add up. They really stack up.
Mm,
And I think even for someone, because stepping out of uni and dropping out of uni is like a big thing, and I feel like it's very similar to quitting like a corporate job.
mm,
Similar to other guys in the community like Yusuf, who have taken a step back and gone all in. And I obviously have seen that in my life as well. Like, I don't think there's overall, I never see a negative of going all in on something, because when you do it, the results and the speed of result
yeah,
speed is ridiculous. I mean, for you now, you've in your second month full time closing, you've made just over $5,000. which is, you know, people don't make that kind of money in the corporate world till they're, I don't know, maybe late 20s if they're lucky. And you've
Yeah,
got now the run rate to doing way more. You know, you could be on track to making, you know, you don't just want to stop here, do you? No, of course
no,
you don't.
no,
Like, you've got goals, you've got aspirations to make more.
yeah,
So yeah, I think it's burning boats is huge.
massive. I think you get a lot from it when you do it. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about those around you. And I think one thing I would say is, even if it doesn't work out, like my agency is somewhat deemed as a failure, but I wouldn't be here now. Like I learned
Mm,
so much. Like I don't believe that everything happens for a reason, but you find a reason for everything to happen. So like whatever you learn, even if it doesn't lead to, if you tried high ticket sales and you did it for 3 months and just it just wasn't for you, you'd be a better communicator. You'd probably learn how to run some back-end systems, some CRM to be better at number crunching. I, there'd be so many skills that you could then later apply into whatever you want to do, but you'd be gaining something out of it.
mm, 100%. And I had this conversation recently with quite a few guys, and quite a lot of them went through Iman Gadzhi's like
Mm,
agent navigator course.
yeah.
And obviously he's a big name. A lot of people know him. The course is like 997. I don't think it's amazing. I think a few people get good results. But anyway, all these guys I know, they didn't get any results from it. But that one decision to
Mm,
join that program, one, fixed in their mindsets the power of like investing into a mentor. They
yeah.
then met loads of people in that group, and now loads of those guys have now gone on to do insanely well. And a lot of them will vouch for that program, and they
Mm,
will say, I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't do that Iman Gadzhi program, even though technically they got no like monetary result. Like, you learn a lot
yeah.
about yourself going through that.
But what you'd agree, like how many people, successful people, like you hear on podcasts now say, "Oh yeah, the first thing I did worked."
Yeah, fuck all.
Like so few, and like no doubt, and hopefully in 10 years' time when we're on podcasts, we're probably going to be like, oh my god, there's so many things that went wrong. And for us, this period of our life it went right. It was our first kind of taste of it going right. Or for me, my first taste of it going right, and then it will hopefully lead to so many other things. Uh,
Mm. Definitely. And in terms of the closing, let's like talk about high ticket
mm.
sales now. Like, the past 2.5 months, what do you feel like has been the biggest reason why you've got such good like results so quickly?
I think one was first off was definitely like this expanding network. Like I would just rinse and repeat Loom videos. Like I would
Mm.
send them to every man and their dog, whether
Yeah,
it's an offer or not. I just send because it leads to conversation. It leads to you getting, I suppose, somewhat known in the space. I mean, I'm by no means kind of there yet, but like once a week, twice a month, you might get your message from offer owners being like, "Oh, are you available?" So I said
mm.
definitely Loom's one of them.
And what for those who have no idea what Loom Video is, or like
Yeah,
for owners, do you wanna just explain?
I mean, essentially, it's just like it's like a small video of yourself, just explaining who you are, what you're doing. And for me, I think I just took the approach of just being really just honest, open, like not scripted. I didn't write a script. I just went off the bat, and it worked really
Mm,
well. So I think that's the first thing that I kind of led to a lot of success. Because as you said, if you throw enough at the wall, something's going to stick, and it did in the end.
definitely.
Um, and I suppose also like the calls we have, like it is about reps. Like you don't step into a gym one day and leave the biggest man there. You got to kind of keep showing up and
100%.
compounding interest, progressive overload. It's the same in this space. It takes time, and by no means I think I'm close to being there yet, but I'm definitely a lot closer than what I was at the start.
Yeah, no, you're definitely getting better, mate, for sure. Obviously, because you're closing deals, you're making money. But again, you're never going to be the finished article with sales. Like, you're an idiot if you think you're ever going to be the complete salesman. You know, I'm still learning stuff.
Yeah,
My mentors are still learning stuff. Like, you're always progressing. But no, I think it's reps. I think you're right. Like,
yeah,
it's always what I say to people is the first couple months, they're not easy. And I know you're not going to sit here and say it was easy. And I don't want you to do that. Like, I
Yeah,
want people to understand that there are going to be times where you're not going to want to show up to the role play, or you're not going to want to do the work. But those are, again, it's just small
yeah,
sacrifices, right?
yeah. I think as well, like it helps a lot in terms of the role play. It helps because like you've genuinely got such a good core group of lads now. Like
Mm,
it's fun. Like we have a chat about the day and then we just get it done, and it's a good way to kind of break up your day because sometimes don't get me wrong, the closing side is the best part. Like it's so fun and what it allows you. Like I've not even experienced it yet, but hopefully soon it will allow me to see some cool places, work with some cool people, and also work in some cool places. When previously
100%.
I wouldn't have had that. So having a good network and good group around you that push you to be better each day is probably one of the most important things.
Yeah, I think the community is so key, and
Yeah.
accountability, and other guys are going to be showing up and putting in the work. I'm going to be there, so it's like, yeah, I'm going to show up today. I'm going to put in the work. Like,
Mm,
even when I know you were showing up to the calls that we were having at like 5:30 in the evening after a day of closing, and I know you're knackered, but again, those are the ones that count when you show up when
yeah,
you are tired, and when you don't really want to be there.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I think, and in terms of the community as well, like, how have you found videos, like, obviously the training program, the group sessions,
yeah,
everything like that?
yeah. Like, well, it's led me to where I am now. I mean, without it, I wouldn't be here. So I suppose yeah, it's really good. I mean, it's an A to Z and everything you need to know. But as Ben knows, and as you see, Ben himself will provide all the support you need and will do everything he can, but there's an element of ownership. Um,
Mhm.
but if you have that with the right support, the right like group of boys around you and girls around you, and the right like kind of information, then there's no reason why you can't make it work.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So what are the goals from here then? Tell the guys about, like, where you're at, what you could potentially be getting on this offer as well, which is pretty exciting.
Yes, I suppose kind of moving forward, um, working with a firm out in Dubai, which is quite cool. It's all remote, all to do with kind of scaling social media, personal brands, something I'm interested in as well. But essentially, my next goal is to hit 100K revenue for the firm. Because yeah, once that comes in, it's a pretty ludicrous earning potential for myself. So that's exciting.
Yeah. What is it? A potential 15% commission,
Yeah,
and then a $5,000 base as well. So,
that's nuts, isn't it? And
yeah.
that's crazy.
I'm
Uh,
saying this now. I'm looking forward to getting you on before September for a 10K month interview.
I'm hoping so. Here's hoping. But yeah, so I suppose the next 2 months it's get the business to 100K revenue in the UK market. And once that's done, gonna bring on another closer, can move on to base, and then move on to kind of helping out the team, growing it, and then basically just seeing how big we can make this thing go. And
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
there really.
Exciting. And for those of people who are, like, maybe a bit confused, so Rory came in as a closer, has done such a good job so far that the offer owner has now said to him, once you hit 100K, once he makes 100K for the business, which would be $15,000 in commission for Rory because he's on 15%, he is then going to start managing the other closer who's going to come on. He's going to get commission from the other closer, and he's also going to get a $5,000 base, which is
Yeah, it's
insane.
nuts.
So good.
I like
Um,
the thought of like everyone's like, oh, like I want to have like passive income and stuff, but that is it. Like if
yeah,
I do my job, I not only do I close, but help someone else do it. You then get financial reward for when they do their job. So
100%. And it's fulfilling, man. Like,
oh
this,
yeah,
like, being on this call with you now, like, knowing that you've made that kind of money last month
mm,
is sick. Like, it's
yeah,
genuinely so cool. It's such a good feeling to be able to have helped you on this journey. As cheesy as that might sound, like,
no,
it's
no,
it's amazing. It's really,
yeah,
really cool.
it's
Yeah,
exciting. It really
yeah, definitely,
exciting.
bro.
And like as well, like it's just when you realise that it's not like it doesn't take that long to do something like this. Like it's like, oh my, in a year's time, 5 years time, like the sky is the limit. Like it actually is. Like
Mm,
what's stopping
100%.
anyone from doing anything?
Literally limiting beliefs, believing they can't do it. And is in terms of sales as well, because I obviously didn't really have much experience with it. Like coming in and like was it what you expected? Like high ticket sales and closing?
No,
Like what would you
I
say?
kind of, to be honest, I kind of thought I'd come in, do it for a bit, and thought like this is just such a stepping stone for me. But I've genuinely like, yeah, I have fallen in love with it because it's like an art. It's like an art form. Like it is like you learn a lot about conversation, you learn a lot about people. And I think if you are able to kind of just have a conversation with someone and pick out what's needed, that's when you'll see real success. I think that's something that I'm still definitely striving towards. Like it's not yet done, but foot's in the door. But yeah, no, it's what I thought and more, I would say. And you know what? Like, I do think, and this is where I revert back to like this is a life skill. If I had this kind of sales knowledge and sales skill, plus had the agency, I
Exactly.
I think I wish I recorded those calls because we could sit here and honestly just be like, what were you doing?
Just laughing at them.
But I had no idea. I would go on and like in my head, I'm like, I'm speaking to this amazing brand, like they've got all your authority, like wherever they say goes.
Mm,
If I did it now, it would be night and day.
yeah. So different. It's interesting. It's interesting. And for someone who is maybe looking at this or watching this and thinking, you know, potentially wanna get involved, wanna join the program and go for it, like what would you say to them?
Just do it. Like it sounds so like obvious, but
Yeah.
why not? Like what date is it now? Whether you're finishing A level or you got uni, like it's coming up summer, you're gonna have time off. Like uni holidays are massive. Like but even if you're not at uni, like you know, do this for 3 or 4 hours a day for 2 months. Implement everything. Do the work yourself. And if any of myself or any of the boys that I work with Ben can do it, like why can't you?
Mm. And I think like even guys who are working full time, like Jed
Mm.
working full time, like he's smashed it out of the park. He's almost at a point now where he's gonna be able to quit his job. And it's
Yeah,
like he's anyone can do it. I completely agree, but it's just a case of going for it and burning the boats as we've
yeah,
spoken about
100%,
today and just going
100%.
all in. Um, but no, exciting. Well, look, mate, really appreciate you coming on,
No worries.
and looking forward to see where you end up over the next few months.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be on that next call soon.
Well, mate, we'll hopefully be out in Marbella with the other boys come September.
Oh, mate, that's the dream. That's the plan. That's the goal. We'll get there.
100%. All right, bro. Appreciate it. I'll speak to you soon.
All the best.
Bye bye bye. Bye.